I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. This is a new Harbor Freight electronic welding helmet because my old one stopped. It stopped working. The batteries died. We'll just have to see how well it does. I know it works. Well, that's a pisser. I bought a brand new Harbor Freight welding helmet. Brand new, right out of the box. Doesn't work.
Water under the bridge. Harbor Freight helmet didn't work. I took it back, got my money back. They gave me the money I paid for it. Fair deal. But I still need an electronic welding helmet. I got used to the idea of using the electronic welding helmet with the wire welder, because stick weld, I'm fine with flipping the helmets down. But with the wire welder, every time I flip the helmet down, I move the wire away from where I want to be welding, and I don't see it. So I end up with a strike that's off to the side or not in the right place. So, time to find another welding helmet. The first place I looked was Tractor Supply Company. It was right on the way into town. They're on Gull Road. So I stopped and looked at their welding helmets and what their capacities were and capabilities. They were pretty expensive. A lot more than the Harbor Freight helmet. And I thought, well, I could buy a higher priced helmet, but they don't look any better than the Harbor Freight. So I thought, okay, fine. We'll just go along the line here and look and see what they've got available. See if I can pick one out that looks reasonable. But I'm not finding one. Going to one of the local welding supply shops was going to be a lost cause. They were going to be selling me a Lincoln or a Hobart and a really high-end one, because why would they keep cheap ones around? It's just as easy to sell an expensive one as a cheap one, and they're selling to larger companies that it's just a budget item. They don't care. So I went to B&G Salvage, and they had one about the same price, about the same shape, size, and general configuration as the one from Harbor Freight. Matter of fact, it looked to be very much like the one from Harbor Freight. Not anything I wanted to monkey with. Just decided that, that was a lost cause. Buying online is always a third choice for me. I'd rather pick it up, look at it, and know what I want before I buy it. But all my local sources were out of the running. So I went on eBay and looked up a new helmet. Well, I went on eBay and I looked around and I ran across this welding helmet. It's an auto darkening model LY800H. Truss oxen. Not sure why the name is truss oxen, but that's what it is. It has all the bells and whistles that I wanted, plus a few extras. For one, it has a large screen on it. The Harbor Freight has only got a half-size lens, and when you wear
Glasses with bifocals, you want to tip your head up so that you can see something close up. With a half lens, you can't do that. You have to shift your head around and push your glasses up on your nose, or else wear cheater lenses. But with a large frame, all you do is tilt your head back and look out the bottom of your glasses through the bifocals and go ahead and see what you need to see. This also has 3 settings. It's got sensitivity, which is the bottom button, shade, which is the large one in the front, and then delay, which sets how much time it stays off. You can also set it for grind, cut, or weld. That makes it nice because if you put it on grind, the thing's not going to be constantly flashing dark every time the grinder strikes a spark. So that's a handy thing to have. The other thing it's got is this little thing right here is the place where you change the battery. So if the battery does go dead, you take the battery out, you replace the battery, and away you go. Now, Harbor Freight, you can take out the whole lens, throw the lens away, along with the little control, and buy another one for about 14 bucks. Batteries cost you anywhere from $3 on down. So, this one has many features that I like, and none that I don't like. Plus, it was only 38 bucks. So by the time I go through all the other places and find helmets that were either grossly higher priced or much less than even the Harbor Freight one, single shade lens, or a welding helmet that didn't have replaceable batteries, which is the same thing as what the Harbor Freight is, but a lot more money. Or just a generally inexpensive, cheap helmet. Now the helmet arrived in a couple of days in this rather beat up box. It looked just exactly like this with the top pushed in, and called an M Series welding helmet. Shipped to me from Red Gum Street, 150 North Red Gum Street, unit number F in Anaheim, California. And despite the damage to the box, the helmet arrived in good shape. No cracks, dents, dings, bangs, or bumps on it. The headband looks a little twisted, but I think that's just because it's very flexible. It's not very stiff. Now, I don't know if that's good or bad. All of them I've ever had a headband that felt like it was made out of steel. More like a vise than a headband. So, first thing we'll do is read the directions. Yeah, it's always a good idea. The working principle is, and this is exactly as it's written, different with traditional passive shading lens, made from various additives and pigment. ADF adopts LCD as lens ADF, using the probe on a mirror surface to probe the appearance and disappearance of arc when welding. Using electricity to drive shading level of the LCD to achieve the goal of protecting us from harmful rays. Can absolutely reflect ultraviolet rays and ultra-red rays. In addition, hands are thoroughly set free. Welding is more exactly, therefore efficiency is improved. Okay. It even has a little schematic of how the wiring is done. I don't recognize it. But then, it's been a while since I did any electronics. Maybe gibberish is the new way of doing it. Has little directions on how to put the headband in. Take out the headband, disassemble it according to the exploded view below. Take out the mask and install the headband according to the exploded view below. That's simple enough. Tighten the knob down. Well, that was almost too easy, wasn't it? Okay, open that up a little bit because I have a rather large head. Okay. The headband is expanded far enough, but this is set too far. Drop that down a bit. Helmet stays. Okay, the headband seems to work pretty good. I wouldn't say I was impressed, but I'm not disappointed. And at this point in my life, considering the number of fiddle arounds that I've had to do with welding helmets, not disappointed is a good thing. So I'm going to take the plastic off. Actually, I think it might be better to just pull the helmet lens out. That goes off and on. We're just turning it on. To cut. Let's grind. Cut. Let's weld. Turn the sensitivity up. And it turns on and turns off. So therefore it is working. So far, so good. It's got a nice headband. I think I can take this front strap down just a little bit and have it sit more fully on that and not come down quite so far on my head. A little too far. I might have this set incorrectly. No, I've got the notches in the right spot. Just move this little keeper here a little further back one notch and see what that does for me. Oh, that's great. Even using my bifocals is no problem at all. So that's going to make welding a lot easier. Okay guys, that's my welding helmet. Now we got to try doing some welding, which won't be tonight, but I'm very tickled. Trusoxin. Trusoxin. Well, I came back to edit the video and realized that I haven't given you the final word on the video. The helmet seems to be what I want, and I'm going to be testing it out later when I have more welding to do. This has been kind of a lighthearted view of helmets. It does talk about what they actually do and what the helmet that I just bought does, but I didn't spend a lot of time going into the intimate detail of how a headband works. I figured most of you guys can figure that out on your own. But if anybody really feels that they need to have an in-depth study of how to put a Trusoxin headband on and make it work, and the various adjustments and what all on the knobs and controls, and how to take the lens out, would you like to see it up close, how to take the lens out, put it back in, I can make another video. I'll be making a video of me actually testing it on the next weld project that I do. So if you're interested in that, put a note in the comments and we'll see if we can speed it up a little bit so you're not waiting quite as long. Sometimes these updates take a while to get done. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.
This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the U.S. or 16 in the European Union, without the express written permission of the parents or legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.